Now let's go to House Republican Leader, Congressman Kevin McCarthy. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Congressman, this week in the debate, one of the big issues was, will the Democrats try to stack the court if they win the Senate and win the White House? It was a big debate issue. Speaker Pelosi has said the same thing. Sir, it strikes me as that would be a bad idea to be talking about that in front of an election. You may just inspire those base voters who want to get out and make sure that doesn't happen. Your thoughts?
Well, that would be a terrible thing to do. The American public doesn't support it. But it again, to show the Democrats want their own rules. I mean, from stacking the court to change the electoral system to making Washington, D.C. a state. It's all about gaming the system because they cannot win when it's a fair process. And that's what, when we talk about destroying America, are dismantling it. Think about what they just wasted their majority on: impeachment, just because they didn't like the outcome of an election. Now, because the Supreme Court, the president is doing what the Constitution says he should do about naming some of the Supreme Court. That's what Ruth Bader Ginsburg actually said. A president is there for 4 years. They now not only talk about impeachment, the Speaker does, but now the members in the House and the Senate, the Democrats, that they want to stack the court if he follows the Constitution. That's what's appalling to me, and that's what we really talk about when they want to dismantle this nation.
You know, sir, Speaker Pelosi, there's been rumored maybe a little bit of unrest on the Democrats in the House, and you're right there. You have your ear to the stone, so to speak. Is there a chance that she might be replaced as Speaker of the House, even if the Democrats win in 2020?
Remember, there are a number of people that voted against her. Just this week, we saw more than 23 Democrats sign a letter that they would sign a Republican discharge petition to allow a bill to come to the floor that would help small businesses, the PPP program. You know, Speaker Pelosi has been holding up getting anything done from COVID relief for the American public. She continues to try to push a bill that mentions cannabis more than it mentions jobs, and it's really harming the nation, more for a political purpose than anything else. And now her own members that she's sacrificing in this campaign are really concerned by that. And it would only take a few more to what really topple her and have a new Speaker in the House.
You know, one of the other big issues at the debate this week was the Green New Deal, and you know, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez is kind of behind the push for that. President Trump said to Vice President Biden, he said, you just lost the far left when he pushed back against the Green New Deal. What are your thoughts on the far left portion of the House that you are, again, leader of the minority in the House? What are your thoughts of that other group?
Well, remember what Joe Biden said, that he is the Democratic Party. Well, what Joe Biden is that, or what Democratic Party is that? Because Barack Obama says Joe Biden, there's no difference between him and Bernie Sanders, who's identified himself as a socialist. And what Joe Biden has done, he's pretty much sacrificed the party to the socialists. He's let AOC write the environmental plan. He says there's no fracking. Now he says there could be. He supports the Green New Deal. Now he says there's a different one. It still harms the country as we know it. And I'm not quite sure which Joe Biden is showing up or which one he remembers of what he said before.
You know, the House, so our audience understands, the House, the Congress is the one who writes the check. So tell us where we stand with, you know, Congressman, you know, I'm a libertarian, I'm a conservatarian, let's call it that, and I hate big, massive government spending, but, you know, we're doing it again. We're doing exactly what we pointed the finger at the Obama administration for doing, spending wantonly, doubling our debt, national debt, in the span of 8 years. Are we not doing the same thing? Are we not leading ourselves down that debt bomb, same thing that we accuse the left of doing over the last 8 years?
Well, it's one of the concerns we have, and in our commitment to America, this is where we lay out that we would actually balance our budget. But you know, the real concern I have, when Republicans were in the majority for those 8 years, when Nancy Pelosi had to hand the gavel to Boehner and I handed it back, you know that discretionary spending that Congress has control over? In those 8 years, it never went up, it actually went down. In less than 6 months of the Democrat majority, they increased it. They added more spending. And what they've been able to do is they haven't even produced a budget. One of the fundamental things you should do as a majority party. How can you ever balance the budget if you can't even produce one? The Democrats won't even produce one. And that's a real concern I have for future generations, the amount of debt we're incurring. Now, there is spending going on, some that I would support. Much of what has happened within COVID, that we helped those small businesses. Where did that money go to? That money went to keep them open, to pay their rent, but to pay the employees. The resources to make sure people who are unemployed to have that bridge to go forward, that we don't create a financial hardship within the banks and others.
All right. You know,
what we really need to do is get the country working again. And that's why in the Commitment to America, we have pledged 10 million new jobs in the next year.
That's it. And I think that is the case here. We got to get the country moving again. I'm concerned when the government largesse stops, what happens? Is there another shoe to drop? Again, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, Congressman, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.